All right, guys, let's go into the week 5 programming. To review the week, we're going to start on the Monday. We're going to go back to building up on our back squats. So, same cycle as the previous week, the 2 weeks ago, where we got a kind of a build and prep section, warming up our back squat, and then we're going to go into our working sets. So last week was more of a deload. We put that in purposely. So when we're lifting, we're getting heavier. We don't want to just keep going until we fail. We're going to get to a point where our nervous system is going to be tired. We need to kind of take some breaks too as well. Make sure we don't redline. So the idea of last week was to kind of unload a little bit, and then we're going to ramp back up this week. So um, first phase of that section, build and prep, 3 sets of 5, increasing weight to a weight that we can do 2 to 3 reps more, but not more than that and not less than that. So it's challenging, but if we were to like go all out, if we were to do that full set, um, we would be able to do 7 or even 8 reps, but we're going to stop at 5. So that's another way to kind of think about it. But all the working sets, so for part B, we're going to be doing 5 sets of 5 of the back squat, to 2 to 3 reps in reserve. Again, that's meaning like once you get to the 5th rep, you still have 2 or 3 left in the tank there. So it's not super heavy, but it is still a little bit challenging. Same tempo, just like the previous weeks. And we'll do a set every 3 minutes just to keep us on time, keeping us on the clock there. So as you guys know too as well, back squats, the point of that is to really build the lower body strength. So when you're going into this, you're challenging your mobility in your hips, you're challenging your strength, you're challenging skills. There's a bunch of different things that are working all at once. So keep that in mind as you're doing the work today. And if you are newer to this, focus on the positioning, the mobility of it, rather than just trying to put more weight and not get the full range of motion down. So work within where you're at right now, and then work to build that range of motion over time. Then our WOD, after that, I want to finish off a quick little burner. This one's for time, 500-meter row, 400-meter run, and then 500-meter row to finish off. So this workout is meant to challenge the cardiovascular endurance. We want to be at that like close to redlining stage, but we're just below that, like just below our threshold where it's like uncomfortable, but we can still maintain it. This is meant to be tough because you only got 10 minutes to work through those 3 sets there. And the idea is to get within somewhere the 6 to 9 minute range there. So for those of you that are faster on the row and the run, these are like your jam. You're probably going to be 6 or less on this one. Very possible to even kind of get into like the 5s for those of you who are like fast runners. It's very possible, but within that range would be awesome for today. And if we need to kind of adjust the volume, do that. So whether it's the row or the run or both, adjusting it to kind of be around that time range. The idea again is like we want to row hard, run hard, and then coming back with that fatigue. It's like, okay, it does suck, but we only have 500 meters of rowing and that's it. You can just finish that off and finish the workout. So see if you can like really get into that kind of zone too as well, where it's like it's tough. It's like you don't want to be moving more, but again, know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. That's the kind of workout that we're looking at to start off on Monday today. Following into our Tuesday, more of a little bit relaxed pace, longer pace workout. We're focusing on consistency here. So we're going at a pace that's like a little bit challenging, but we can repeat that over time because a lot of endurance work is like we want to make sure we can do the work, repeat the work again. If we're doing the work and then we can't repeat it, whether it's due to rest or whether it's due to just going too fast and just not pacing properly, we're not going to create the right adaptations out of that. So today, really get in tune with how you're feeling, like how difficult each round is feeling, and that to help you gauge how the next following rounds should feel like. So for example, if I did this round, which is 9 burpees to the target, 12 calories on the bike, and then 15 wall balls, I finished that round and I'm like, okay, that felt like maybe a 5 out of 10. And that 2 minute rest is kind of like, oh, this is like so nice. Like it feels really good. Then I'd probably want to bump up the pace a little bit. So go a little faster on that next round. But if it's like I do that round and it's just like you need more than 2 minutes rest, like it's like you just barely made it, and then that 2 minutes is like, oh, I wish this was 3 minutes or even more, then we definitely have gone too fast. So then we want to kind of bump up or bump down the pace a little bit. So we're looking at like roughly 3 to 4 minutes per round, just based on kind of skill level and where you're at. But you can use that as a gauge for yourself, and you can adjust progressions or adjust reps in order to match that the best. Keep the ratio the same. So if you do reduce the reps, like we can kind of look at it like 6, 9, and 12 with the rep scheme. If you do that, or progressions like lower height on target, wall balls, lower target, or even lighter ball. Ideally, all of this is done unbroken for the majority of it. So you're looking at focusing on endurance today, focusing on the repeat effort today. It's not about the strength necessarily. The strength is like, if you have it, do what's RX. If not, then it means to kind of find what the best RX is for you for that day. So just keep that in mind with today. When you are finished this workout, we're going to do a 5-minute easy pace on the bike or the rower, whichever you like. The idea is to just kind of ease down the nervous system, quiet it down a little bit after that intensity, flush out, get the blood flowing a little bit through the body. Sometimes you can feel like it pools up in one area. That way it's just like helping you kind of ease your way out of this workout and feel good, start the recovery process a little earlier, leaving the gym. So get that done, whether it's after you finish your last round, or it could be at the 30-minute mark, start then. For Wednesday, we got back to, jumped all over the place. Wednesday is our gymnastics day, so we're working on pull-ups, ring rows. The idea is we're going to do something in the vertical direction for part A that's challenging. It's going to be like more focused on the strength aspect. We're going to go to 1 to 2 reps in reserve, and we want about 1 to 5 reps. So let's say you're somebody that has one pull-up and you have one strict pull-up. Okay, well, totally okay if you do just one pull-up every 3 minutes. If that's challenging, you can keep that tempo. We're on the right track. As we go throughout the weeks, maybe you want to see if you can try to get that second one in. For those of you who don't have a pull-up, okay, let's try some pull-up progression, whether it's our feet on the box or some kind of descent that's challenging for this first part. So it could be feet on a box doing a pull-up with like feet assisted pull-ups. It might be maybe descents. Maybe you're going to jump up and do a slow descent on the way down, and we want to try to maintain that 2-second tempo. If we can't do that after 3 or like on the 4th rep, then maybe 3 is our max for that. But everyone should be kind of picking a progression that's tough in the vertical direction, doing a pulling movement in that vertical direction for the first part. Second part is meant to be more of the stamina. So this is like how much we can utilize of the muscle. So the lats, back, the biceps in this movement are going to be taxed when we're doing our horizontal ring rows. And so we're going for the stamina portion and less about the strength portion here. We're doing 3 sets of 10 to 20 reps to 1 to 2 reps in reserve. So that means like, okay, we're going to get close to that end point where we can only do 1 or 2 more, and then we're going to be kind of failing reps after that. That's the point we want to get to. So with the ring rows, find that adjustment, like the angle that's going to make the most sense to hit that rep range for part B. And all of these, like the 3 sets here and the 3 sets here, each set's going to be done every 3 minutes to keep us on track, making sure we have rest. From there, our workout, I would like to kind of counteract some of the pulling with some pushing. So a really good way of kind of starting to build some upper body strength. As you can tell on Wednesdays, that's kind of what we've been working on. The WOD is going to be 18 box jump overs, 3 strict handstand push-ups, 18 box jump overs, 6 strict handstand push-ups, 18 jump overs, 12, 18 jump overs, and then 24. So it's doubling every time for the handstand push-up reps, but the box jumps stayed the same. So the box jumps are going to be more of the cardio component in this, kind of like your little buy-in into the handstand push-ups. Handstand push-ups, we're tackling our upper body strength here, the stamina in it. I would say choose something today like the progression that feels like you can do 3 to 6 when you're tired. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then the minimum volume that we want to get to. So where do we want to get to in this workout? Well, I want you guys to be in the round of 24 or completing the round of 24. So I put aim to be in the last round of the strict handstand push-ups. Maybe you're just starting it, or maybe you're just chipping away at it. If you get it done, awesome as RX. Or if it's tough, like you feel like you just squeaked in that last kind of round there, just before the time cap, perfect. This is not meant to be necessarily done within the 10 minutes like you might be get capped. It's really about like pushing the limits of where you can get to with that handstand push-up or the pushing capacity there, as long as, again, keeping good technique, good form across the board. So I want to keep that in mind. So that's Wednesday. Lots of pulling, pushing in that workout to tackle the upper body strength. Thursday is going to be our little bit easier day. So still moving, keep the wheels turning on this day. We don't want to just do nothing. Sometimes this is good for some people that are like, okay, I want to still keep moving, but I don't want to red line. If we go hard every day, we're going to crash and burn. So this is why we have this Thursday in place, especially for those of you that are doing 3 days on or are trying to do the 5 days straight in a row. So conditioning, low intensity, 40 minutes at a steady pace, 2 rounds of 10-minute bike at 60 to 70% for both the bike and the row. So essentially you can go 10 minutes on the bike, 10 minutes on the row, 10 minutes on the bike, 10 minutes on the row. However, every 5 minutes, we're going to be doing 8 sit-ups, 12 lateral lunges, and 24 single skips. So the idea here is like, just get off the machine quickly. You're going to get through those sets real quick. Use the sit-ups as just kind of like getting some motion down. This is not meant to be like taxing the core, just getting a little bit of firing in that core. Lateral lunges, really about like activating and getting new kind of movement angles for our hips and our knees, rather than kind of doing the classic lunge forwards. Like, hey, let's go in the lateral direction. Let's change it up. Let's make it a little different. So you might even feel a little stretch in this, which is cool. It'll help you kind of mobilize the hips along the way. And then some single skips, really simple, whether it's like grabbing the rope or maybe you're just working on the timing of it, jumping and tapping your sides. All this is meant to be done at a steady pace. So your heart rate is up, but it's something that you can kind of like have a conversation at, like you're able to talk, but it's like just in that kind of cusp where it's, if you push a little bit faster, it's like, okay, you kind of have to concentrate a little bit more on what you're doing. So steady pace, not too easy, not too hard, just kind of like in that middle zone where, again, like you can still have a little bit of a conversation. You guys are more like, I want some metrics, you can use a heart rate monitor somewhere around that 120, 140 kind of mark with your heart rate, roughly. Friday, kind of the mirror opposite of Wednesday, we got our strict press work. So very similar to Monday's scheme as well. 3 sets of 5, increasing weight, and then 5 sets of 5, all at the 2 to 3 reps in reserve. So getting challenging, but we still have some in the tank. And we're doing these barbell strict presses to work on the triceps, work on the delts, work on the back muscles, work on our stability through our core, because we got to maintain good positions as we're pressing the bar overhead. So lots of different areas that are working. And again, for those that are working on upper body strength, this is the day. This is the day we got to be in, especially Wednesdays and Fridays. So strict press, look back at what you did on the previous weeks. This would have been the same style or the same structure as week 2 in this program. So you can look back at that. And if it looks like, hey, you see that weight and you're like, hey, I could actually go a little bit heavier, or that 2 to 3 reps in reserve weight that I did on week 2 might actually feel like it's 3 to 4 reps in reserve this week. So maybe we can go a little heavier than the last time. So always look back at your notes. That's why you should be always tracking and just kind of seeing where you're at and then adjusting based off of that. Following that, I like always doing this push-pull combo. It's just awesome to build that upper body strength, and it just keeps that theme going. The workout today, for total reps, alternating Tabata. So Tabata's 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. You're going to be tracking your reps throughout this. We're going to go jumping pull-ups from a 6-inch reach for 20 seconds, and then 20 seconds of sumo deadlift high pulls, 95, 65. So light enough that we can just keep moving through this. And so 20 seconds of the jumping pull-ups, 10 seconds off, and then 20 seconds of the sumo deadlift high pulls, 20 seconds off, or 10 seconds off, then back to the jumping pull-ups, and just keep going until you do 16 rounds total, or 8 rounds of each there. The idea again here is to really challenge the upper body pulling stamina. We're kind of doing a little vice versa of the strength piece. You want to be moving for the full 20 seconds, not a lot of time. And I put some intended volume so you guys can kind of have an idea of like, hey, what should we be aiming for? So in the 20 seconds, 4 more jumping pull-ups, 6 or more sumo deadlift high pulls in those 20-second intervals. So that's Friday. And then our Saturday workout, kind of like Thursday, except we're going to be a little bit more on the intensity side. So trying to introduce that higher pace, still working on intervals, longer time domain. We got 4 rounds of a 1 minute AMRAP of 6 burpees over a line, 6 dumbbell snatches, and then right into 3 minutes of an easy row or bike. Think of this as like, instead of stopping, it's like, okay, can we recover our heart rate while we're moving? So this is where we're working a little bit on heart rate recovery too as well. So easy row, easy bike, whatever it is, whichever one you choose, it's not meant to be fast. Then you're going to go into the next 1 minute AMRAP, very similar, 6 burpees over a line, and then 6 dumbbell single arm thrusters. It could be your right, your left, you want to switch, it's up to you, it doesn't really matter. Then into another 3 minute easy row or bike. Then back to the top and repeat again. So every round, you're looking at doing a 1 minute AMRAP and 3 minute row, and then 1 minute AMRAP and 3 minute row. So this workout is going to be 32 minute workout here because we got 8 times the 4. We got 32 minutes total for this one. The idea is to really bring the intensity on that 1 minute interval. So high pace, the goal volume is pretty much finishing a round, at least a round in every 1 minute AMRAP. If you can, challenge yourself to get back to the burpees again. So this is not meant to be like where you're doing 5-6 rounds in. I want this to, when you're looking on paper, when you look at it, it's like, oh, that's easy. Like I can do that. That's very simple. I can go through that quickly. Like I can really, it's easy enough that I can bring the intensity and go fast in it. It shouldn't be like, oh, I'll need to take breathers throughout it. So if that's the case for you, knock the reps down. So goal volume is to do a round. If that means doing 4 and 4 or 3 and 3, then do that, because we want to get after the stimulus, not get caught up with the actual movements themselves. Okay, so that's Saturday. Sunday, mobility day. We get to work on loosening up a little bit, kind of slowing the pace down. Hip mobility, we did this earlier in this cycle, so we're going to go back to that hip mobility work, banded stepping lunges per side, and then banded stepping lunges with the press out per side, and then assessing just kind of like how the mobility feels in the hips. So some of you might be tight in like 90-90 positions, or it might be squatting, lunging, whatever that is. Assess it for yourself and see kind of how it feels, because your nervous system reacts right away to exercises. And if you find like this banded exercise, the stepping lunge works really well for you, let's incorporate that more often so that you get better results in your hips. Hips are more loose. You can really access more range of motion. And then from there, also strengthen those ranges of motion as well. So really awesome work to lead up into our workout, which is a quick AMRAP 10. So 10 minutes, as many rounds as possible, 5 overhead squats, prescribed weight, 115 for the guys, 80 for ladies, 10 strict leg raises, and then 15 deadlifts at the same barbell weight as the overhead squats. The goal is to challenge the midline and the mobility. So today, the idea is like a lot of positioning, a lot of technique. However, if you're finding like you're getting stuck in some of these movements, like overhead squats can be difficult for quite a majority of us with the mobility restrictions, use a PVC pipe, or even just focus on doing overhead lunges, just getting used to the pattern of doing a overhead movement linked with lower body as well. The idea is to get about 4 rounds or more. I should put 4 more in here. And so pick those progressions that are like, okay, can I finish a round every 2.5 minutes in this AMRAP 10? So it's like, can we keep the pace going in this? That's the minimum volume that I want you to aim for. Don't just aim for the minimum, but like, hey, can we push more? Can we get more further as long as we're moving well? So that's a week of programming. Hope you guys are excited for it. And other than that, we'll see you guys at the gym. Have a good one.